Hello everyone, myself Chandan Mandal, and today we are here to discuss the first question of our contest which was held on 3rd Feb, and the question name is save as much as you can. So let's try to understand the question. Shlok loves to travel and his examination has ended, so he's planning for a vacation to Ujjain. Okay, the entire journey can be completed either by train or by bus. Great. And train cost x of I rupees, which will be in between 0 to n, and here n represent the number of stops. Okay, and similarly y of I rupees is representing the cost for bus ticket. Okay, and it will also lie between 0 to n. Okay, and nextly you are given the cost of the train and bus for n stop. Shlok can use train for a stops. He can use any of this, and he have to simply at the end, as Shlok is weak in maths, your task is to find the minimum cost required to complete the journey. Okay, so here we have been told that we have to simply minimize the cost required to reach the destination, final destination. Okay, and here the input format is given that the first line represent t number of test cases. Okay, as usual, and for each test cases we have n representing number of stops we have to cover, and second line will represent the cost for each train stops. Okay, and next will represent the cost of bus stops. Okay, so here we have been provided with two test cases where first having 5 stops, and for each stop we have been provided with the cost of train and also the cost of bus. Okay, so let's try to understand this thing using an example. Let us consider that we have an example where we have few stops. First will cost us 2 and then 7. I'm just taking few random numbers. Okay, and next one will be 8 and then 3. Okay, and here we are going to have 4 and 3, 2, and here 7. Okay, this will represent for train, and it will represent the bus. Okay, so in order to reach the end position, he will try to compare each and every value. So now at the very first stop, Shlok has an option of traveling by train or by bus, but he has to minimize the cost, right? So he will try to go with train because train just cost 2 rupees while the bus is charging him 4 rupees. Okay, and after reaching the next stop he will just check the value, sorry, the cost required for traveling through train and by bus, and after comparing them he will go with bus because he has to minimize the cost, right? And nextly at the third point he will compare the value of train and the bus, and he will see that bus require less number of rupees in order to take it to the next step, and similarly at the very last stop he will see that train costs the minimum amount of money to travel. Okay, and in this way we have just find the minimum number of charges took at every stop. Okay, at the very first stop we have 2 as the minimum, second stop we have 3 as the minimum, and at third stop we have 2 as the minimum, and at the last we have 3 as the minimum. Okay, so in this way we are trying to find the minimum at every single point, and after adding them the value we are going to get will simply be the minimum cost. Okay, so here we are going to have our value as 2 plus 3 5, 5 plus 2 7, 7 plus 3 10. Okay, so the minimum cost to reach the nth stop will be 10. Okay, and yeah, that's all. Hope you were able to understand this example very well. So let's try to talk about the logic we are going to use. We are simply going to traverse over our arrays, okay, and find the minimum at each point. Okay, and this minimum will be find we can simply use a if else statement to find it. Okay, or we can use the math.min method. And next, this will be done on every single stop, and simply we are going to get the minimum value, and each minimum value will get added to our price, okay, that we are going to spend overall. Okay, so let's try to code this out. Here we have been told to take the scan standard input output, so we are going to use the scanner class. And here at the very first line represent the number of test cases, so we are going to take this as input. So int t is equal to dot next int, okay, and we are going to use a for loop to iterate over each test cases. I is equal to 0, I must be less than t, I plus plus. So here we are going to have our each test cases values and everything. So here 5 has been representing as the number of stops, so we'll take it as input. Int stops is equal to sc dot, sorry, int, okay. And after this we are going to have this array. This array represent each cost of each train stops, okay. So here we are going to create an array. Int train is equal to new int, and the size will be stops, okay. And we will use a for loop to int j is equal to 0, j must be less than stops, and j plus plus. This will help us to take each and every value as input within our train, okay. Train array j is equal to sc dot next int, done. And this similar thing will be done for our next array, which will represent the bus cost of the bus at each stop, right? So I'm going to just copy paste it over here and make few changes. Bus and yep, that's all we needed. And after this we are going to perform our actual logic. So here we have to iterate over our arrays and compare each and every value. So we are going to use a for loop for this. For int j is equal to 0, j must be less than stops as the value lies within 0 to n, okay, and n representing the number of stops, and j plus plus at every time. And here we are going to use our if else statements, right? If train at j is less than bus at j, okay. So here we can say here is a case where train is less than bus, okay. So we have to add this in our price to get it as the minimum cost, right? So I'm going to initialize one more value. Int price is equal to 0, okay. And we are if train is less, it means the cost of the train is less, so we are going to add this value within our price, okay. Train at j, done. And if not this, we are going to have our case where the value of bus is greater, sorry, smaller, right? Which will be the very next case, right? So here we can see that bus having the value of 3 while the train having the value of 7, right? So we are going to add the value as 3. So we are going to use here else statement. Else similar thing will be used. Here we just have to make changes as bus. Okay, and this will eventually help us to reach the end of our array, and the price value will be incremented or added at each time. And after performing this whole function, we have to just give the output dot print ln the value, right? So means price. Done. So that's all, I think so. Here we have missed something. Will be done. If statement, else statement, and for loop ends here. Next is for loop. Okay, 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 okay. Mm, mm, mm. Yep, that's look good to me. So here we have been able to pass our test case 0. So let's try to submit our code. So here we can see we have successfully submitted, cleared all our test cases. And talking about the time complexity for this logic, where yeah, this logic, here we have only used a single loop to iterate over both the arrays. So the time complexity will be O of n. Okay, so that's all, and thank you for watching this video. Hope you were able to understand this question very well. And if you have any doubts, you can comment down below.